This one is called I Am Only 10 and Everyone Fears Me. So let's watch.
Hi everyone, my name is Ria and I'm from India. Please like and subscribe.
Hi, Ria from India.
Born on the night of a red moon. In my village, that's considered really bad luck. So growing up, everyone was terrified of me, including my family. Mom was always making me necklaces to ward off evil spirits, and Dad never looked me directly in the eye. But the worst was my older sister, Uma. Once she tried to give me away to Sailor. Take Ria far off into the river. Mommy says she was born on a cursed night, and she scares me. Mom pulled us away and gave Uma a scolding, but Uma just couldn't stop acting like I was some monster. She even refused to sleep in the same room as me and shifted to my parents' room. I tried to be friends with Uma and made her a mud pies to show her I wasn't evil. 2 dessert pies for royal princesses like us. I don't eat mud. That's food for a devil girl. With that, Uma rubbed a mud pie in my face. Well, this devil girl likes to share her meals. We broke out into a full-on mud fight, and after that, I stopped trying to win Uma over. Instead, we totally avoided each other. One day, I was in the woods picking berries for Mom when I heard a scream. I looked behind me and saw a lady lying on the ground. There was a big snake wrapped around her leg. I grabbed it by the tail, flinging it as far as I could. The woman and I ran away, and when we were out of the forest, she hugged me. My angel, you saved me. Let me give you something in return. The lady pulled out a book from her pocket. This is a wonderful book about how to grow your own crops.
Hold on. So she saved her life for a book. A book.
I found out the lady's name was Pavitra, who spent her time researching the best ways to grow food. I read the book she gave me and tried not to feel lonely whenever I heard Uma playing with her friends at her house. Then one day, things took a turn. Our village was having a celebration to pray for rain. Everyone prayed for days, but nothing happened. Then one evening, Uma came running to me crying. Ria, my favorite dress fell from the balcony and into the place where they're doing the rain ceremony. What if someone steals it or gets caught in the fire? Or it was the first time Uma had really
That's what I was about to say. Like, how come she's suddenly talking when she needs help? I thought she was scared.
spoken to me in years, and I jumped at the opportunity to help her. I climbed down the balcony to get the dress, but suddenly I slipped and knocked over a holy candle, which the villagers were praying to. It lay on the ground in shattered pieces.
You've doomed us all. You've upset the heavens.
This girl's a curse to her own family, and now she's corrupting the entire village. Just then, my parents and Uma came running. I'm so sorry. I was just trying to help my sister. Uma, please tell them it wasn't my fault. I should have never asked you of all people to help me. You probably cursed all of us just by stepping inside here. I wish you'd just leave the village. I'm sick of living with a sister like you. Suddenly, all the villagers started agreeing with Uma. They wanted me gone. My parents took me home quickly, but for the next week, all these villagers protested outside of our house. Then one day, a woman knocked on our door, and I realized it was Pavitra, the lady who I'd saved from the snake, and she had a crazy offer. I'll take care of your daughter. She can come live with me in the city. I was certain my parents would never agree to a stranger adopting me. But that night, Mom called me into her bedroom and told me she was sending me away with Pavitra. I don't understand. You want to get rid of me? Just like that? Of course not. But I'm worried about your safety, Ria.
Okay,
Trust me, it's for the best.
True.
We'll see each other again soon. I left the next day with Pavitra. I knew I'd be safe with her, but I was so angry at my family. Most of all, I was angry at Uma, who cheered when I packed my bags. But with time, I started to forget about all my problems back home, because living in the big city was amazing. Pavitra lived with her husband in a much bigger house, and they both spoiled me rotten. We'll paint your bedroom walls any color you want. We'll even get you your own kitten. Are you serious? You guys are the best! My school life was even better than my new home life. It turned out all the kids had heard about what happened to me at my old village, and they were really sympathetic. I could never live in a place that superstitious. And you were way too pretty to be treated like that. You don't think I'm a devil child? I'm flattered. Everyone laughed, and I instantly became the most popular girl at school. Pavitra was overjoyed to see me so happy. On my 15th birthday, she threw me a
Now all we need is to ruin it.
huge party and invited all my classmates. Then suddenly, I heard people behind us, and when I turned around, I saw Pavitra with Mom and Uma. Ria, I have a surprise for you.
I called it. I knew it.
Sweetheart, we've talked it over and decided that Uma will finish her senior year here with you. You girls shouldn't be kept apart anymore, and Dad and I aren't able to move right now. My heart started racing. I hadn't seen Mom and Uma in months, and after everything that had happened, I didn't want Uma living with me. But apparently, I didn't have a choice. Pavitra agreed to adopt Uma too, and just like that,
They do realize that when they give away Uma and Ria, that means that her children, the mom's children, belong to her. So like, why is she just giving away her children? For Ria, I understand, but why for Uma? Do they not know what happened?
Mom dropped her off. I locked myself in my room after the party ended. I didn't feel like talking to anyone. Then suddenly I heard a knock at my door, and it was Uma. What do you want? I thought you didn't like being in the same room as the devil girl. Ria, I want to apologize, okay? I realized when you left that I really missed you, and I'd always been awful to you. I swear, as long as I'm here, I won't be mean. Uma sounded really sincere, even though I couldn't trust her yet, but we'd be living together again, and I decided to give her a second chance. And surprisingly, my sister and I got along really well. I introduced her to all my friends at school, and she was super impressed by how popular I was. Hang out with me more, and maybe my popularity will rub off on you. Uma laughed, and from that day on, we started going to parties and checking out cute boys together. Then one day, Uma came into my room with a surprise. I saved up my allowance to buy us tickets to a water park. We can even stay in a hotel for a night. What? How did you say?
This feels too good to be true. I feel like something's happening. She's gonna backstab her. No.
Save up the money for that. Don't ask questions. Just be happy, sis. Also, pack an overnight bag. Uma hugged me then, and I felt myself tear up. I didn't care about the water park, but this was the closest I'd ever felt to my sister. Plus, we'd never really done anything fun together before. I spent hours packing an overnight bag, and even asked Pavitra if I could get a new bathing suit. But when I woke up the next morning, I sensed something was wrong. The house was dead silent, and I couldn't find my overnight bag anywhere. Then, when I went to the living room, I saw Pavitra crying as Uma comforted her.
If it's dead silent, how did she not hear her crying? Like,
Oh my god, what's wrong? How could you, Ria? I loved you like my own daughter. What was she talking about? Then suddenly, Pavitra reached for my overnight bag, which was behind her. I zipped it open to find gold jewelry, Pavitra's wallet, and all kinds of valuables. Unbelievable! I had a feeling Ria was using you for your money, Pavitra. That poor girl's been through so much, she can't think straight. Don't worry, you can save your motherly love for me. I felt myself boil with rage. Uma, it was you who did this. Could you be any more obvious? I thought we were finally friends now. Pavitra, you know I'd never do something like this. I don't know what to believe right now. I need a moment to myself. Pavitra walked out of the living room, leaving me and Uma alone. I don't understand why you would do this. What, do you want this house all to yourself? You keep forgetting the fact that you're a cursed, wicked girl. You're not supposed to have this fancy life and perfect adopted mom. Girls like you are supposed to be miserable.
you're a devil.
Child, you don't deserve the perfect life.
You should be miserable and die in a pile of snakes. Poisonous snakes.
You're not normal, and I have a duty to protect people from you. You've known me my whole life, and I've never tried to hurt you. I am normal, and I finally thought we could have a normal relationship. Listen to me, Ria. You and I will never have a relationship. Not as long as I live. Uma stormed out of the room, and I started to cry. Later on, Pavitra did find out that Uma tried to frame me, since the maid had overheard my conversation with Uma. My sister got sent home, but I was still so hurt. I couldn't believe I'd fallen for Uma's lies again. Months passed, and we didn't speak. I was done trying to make our relationship work. I would never be friends with Uma, and I just had to accept it. Then one day, I was listening to the news when I heard there was a famine in my village. I called my mom, and to my horror, I discovered she hadn't eaten in 2 days. I packed a suitcase full of food and
Can you really do that? Just pack a suitcase full of food?
traveled to my family as fast as I could. But as soon as I arrived, the villagers took one look at me and started screaming and running. "It's the cursed girl! She's returned!" "I bet it was her who's cast this famine upon us." "What? No! I just came here with food for my family. Before I could answer, someone grabbed my suitcase and opened it. Everyone started taking the food and fighting over it since I hadn't brought enough to feed everyone. Then suddenly, I had an idea. I snuck off to a corner and called Pavitra. "Come to the village, quick! I just realized something. You can save the famine by helping these people grow their crops right. You can teach them about the soil and, darling, it's no use. Those villagers are convinced it's only the gods who can save them and make crops grow overnight. This isn't the first time they've had a famine, and when I tried to help, they just got angry. You can't give up that easily. These people's lives are in danger." But that second, I realized something. I still had the book Pavitra had given me years ago about growing crops. I got off the phone and fished the book out of my bag.
The fact she just had naturally kept it in her bag?
It's kind of weird.
I don't know, just me.
Still going crazy and fighting. There was only one way to get their attention. I climbed on top of a shrine and let out a scream. "This cursed girl needs to tell you guys something. I have a book here that's all about growing crops, especially during a famine. There's a science behind all this." "We'll never listen to you." "You don't have to listen to me. All you need to know is in this book. Come on, you have families to feed. If this doesn't work, then fine. I'll leave this village and never bother you again. But you have to try." The villagers really didn't believe me, but they were desperate. So I opened Pavitra's book and we all gathered by the soil, following planting instructions step by step. Days and nights passed, and slowly we were able to grow food. I stayed with my family for the next 10 months, and by the time the famine was over, the villagers started leaving presents outside our house. "The girl is actually an angel. We never should have banished her from the village. She's a gift sent from the gods." The villagers started apologizing and started bowing their heads at my feet. These people were insane. "Okay, guys, I accept your apology, but it wasn't me who saved you. It was my adopted mom, Pavitra. She studies agriculture and wrote this book. But she's not some gift from God, and neither am I. We're not witches either. The best thanks you can give us is to start believing in science over superstition." The villagers started cheering, and I hoped I'd gotten through to them. Then suddenly I turned around to see Uma behind me. I hadn't spoken to her since she'd left Pavitra's house. I'd been so busy helping the villagers, and I'd never really forgiven her. "I can't believe you came all the way here to save us, even though everyone here has been horrible to you. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm sorry about everything." Thanks, Uma, but how do I know you mean it this time?" "I guess because I'm 20 years old now, and I'm not just some silly kid anymore."
She's 20 years old? How many years has it been since she left Pravitra's? Because then she was a senior. What?
"Who thought you were cursed?" The worst part about this superstition stuff is it made me shut out my own sister. We're not gonna let any of that nonsense ruin our relationship. I love you, Uma, and it's not too late to start over. I'm so glad to hear that, Ria. I love you too.
Alright, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye!